At 1:57 a.m., the old flip phone screamed to life. Garrett Stone Reynolds hadn't heard that ringtone in 7 years. His hand trembled as he answered. "Please." A child's voice, barely a whisper. "Save my mommy. The bad man hurt her. There's blood everywhere." Stone's heart stopped. He didn't know this child. "Mommy said call this number if something bad happens." The little girl sobbed. She said, "You're my real daddy." The words hit him like a bullet to the chest. Before you continue, please subscribe and follow this story to the end. Comment your city below so I can see how far this story travels. The phone kept ringing. Stone stared at it like it was a ghost. That old Nokia flip phone sat on his nightstand collecting dust for years. He'd forgotten it was even plugged in. The only person who ever had that number was Grace Chen. And Grace Chen had disappeared from his life 7 years ago. He grabbed it, flipped it open. Yeah. Silence. Then breathing. Quick, shallow, terrified. "Hello?" Stone sat up straighter. "Who is this? Please." The voice was tiny. A child. Maybe 5 or 6 years old. "Please help me." Stone's blood went cold. "Kid, who is this? How'd you get this number?" "My name is Lily." The words came out shaky, broken by hiccups. "Mommy gave me this number. She said if something really bad happens, I should call it." Stone swung his legs over the side of the bed. His bare feet hit the cold floor. "Where's your mommy right now?" "She's on the kitchen floor." Lily's voice cracked. "The bad man hurt her. There's red stuff coming out of her head. She's not talking right." "What do you mean she's not talking right? She keeps saying words that don't make sense, and her eyes keep closing." Lily started crying harder. "I'm scared. I'm really, really scared." Stone was already pulling on his jeans. "Okay, Lily, listen to me. I need you to stay calm. Can you do that? I don't know." "Yes, you can. You're being very brave right now. You called for help. That's exactly what you're supposed to do." He grabbed his t-shirt from the floor. "Where's the bad man now?" "Downstairs, in the living room. I can hear him walking around." Stone's jaw tightened. "Is he coming toward you?" "I don't think so. Not yet." "Good. Where are you hiding?" "Under Mommy's bed. It's dark under here. I have Butterscotch with me." "Who's Butterscotch?" "My teddy bear. Mommy gave him to me when I was little." Stone almost smiled, despite the horror of the situation. "That's good. You hold on to Butterscotch. Now listen, Lily. I need you to tell me your address. Do you know where you live?" Lily recited the address slowly. Stone recognized it immediately. It was in the rough part of town, about 45 minutes from his trailer if he pushed his truck hard. "I know where that is," he said. "I'm coming to get you. But I need you to stay hidden and stay quiet." "Can you do that? You're coming?" The hope in her voice nearly broke him. "You're really coming?" "Yeah, kid, I'm coming." Promise. That word hung in the air. Stone hadn't made a promise to anyone in years. Promises meant something. Promises could be broken, and he'd broken enough of them to last a lifetime. "I promise," he said. He heard Lily exhale, like she'd been holding her breath for hours. "Mommy said you would come. She said the magic phone would bring my daddy." Stone froze. His hand stopped halfway to his jacket. "What did you just say?" "Mommy said if I ever got really scared and she couldn't help me, I should call the magic phone. She said it would bring my daddy to save us." Stone's throat tightened. "Lily, who told you I was your daddy?" "Mommy did. She has a picture of you in her drawer. She showed me once when I asked about my daddy. She said your name is Stone. She said you're big and strong and you used to ride motorcycles. The room started spinning. Stone sat back down on the bed. This couldn't be right. Grace had never told him about any child. They'd been together for only 3 months, 7 years ago. Then she'd left town without a word. He'd looked for her, but not hard enough. He'd been too deep in his own grief. "Lily," he said slowly. "How old are you?" "6. I just had my birthday last month. Mommy made me a cake with pink frosting." 6 years old. Stone did the math in his head. It was possible. God, it was absolutely possible. "Lily, I need you to listen very carefully. I'm going to come get you and your mommy. But it's going to take me a little while to get there. You need to stay hidden and stay quiet until I arrive. Don't make any noise. Don't come out for anyone except me. Okay. How will I know it's you? I'll call out your name. I'll say, 'Lily, it's Stone. It's safe now.' When you hear those exact words, you come out. Not before. Understand? Yes." "Good girl." And Stone grabbed his truck keys. "Stay on the phone with me. I want to hear your voice the whole way." He moved through his trailer, quickly grabbing his jacket, his boots, his old hunting knife. The Hells Angels vest hung in his closet, untouched for 8 years. He didn't even look at it. "Are you still there?" Lily whispered. "I'm here. I'm getting in my truck right now." "Okay." She paused. "Stone." "Yeah. Is my mommy going to die?" The question hit him like a punch to the gut. He thought about lying, telling her everything would be fine, but something about this kid deserved the truth. "Not if I can help it," he said. "I'm going to drive as fast as I can. You just keep talking to me." The truck engine roared to life. Stone peeled out of the trailer park tires, kicking up gravel. The clock on his dashboard read 2:03 a.m. The roads were empty, just darkness and desert and the yellow lines stretching out ahead of him. "Tell me about Butterscotch," he said. "How long have you had him?" "Forever. Mommy gave him to me when I was a baby. He's brown and his fur is really soft. One of his eyes fell off last year, but Mommy sewed on a button instead. It's blue. So now he has one black eye and one blue eye." "That makes him special." "That's what Mommy says." Lily's voice caught. "She says things that are a little different are the most special." Stone gripped the steering wheel tighter. "Your mommy sounds pretty smart." "She is. She's the smartest person I know. She works really hard. She's tired a lot." "What kind of work does she do?" "She cleans people's houses. Sometimes she brings me with her when I'm not in school. I help her dust." Stone's chest ached. Grace had been a waitress when he knew her. Bright, funny with a smile that could light up a room. Now she was cleaning houses and living in that part of town with a man who hurt her. "Lily, tell me about the bad man. What's his name?" "Marcus," when she whispered the name like it was poison. "I don't like him. He yells at Mommy all the time. Sometimes he breaks things." "Has he ever hurt you?" Silence. "Lily, he grabbed my arm really hard once. Mommy screamed at him. He pushed her into the wall." Her voice got smaller. "That's when Mommy started hiding the phone under her mattress. She said it was our secret." Stone pressed the gas pedal harder. The speedometer climbed past 90. "You're being so brave," he told her. "So incredibly brave." "I'm trying, but my hands are shaking." "That's okay. Shaking is normal when you're scared. It means your body is ready to run if it needs to. But you're not going to need to run because I'm coming." "How much longer?" Stone checked the road signs flying past. "Maybe 30 minutes. That's a long time." "I know, but I'm going as fast as I can." He paused. Hey, Lily, can you hear the bad man? Is he still downstairs? Lily went quiet. Stone heard nothing but her breathing for a long moment. I hear the TV, she finally said. I think he's watching something. Good. That's good. As long as he's watching TV, he's not looking for you. Stone. Yeah. Why didn't you ever come see me? The question cut deeper than any knife. Stone struggled to find words. I didn't know about you, he said finally. Your mommy and we knew each other a long time ago, but I had to go away, and I guess she found out about you after I left. She cried once when she looked at your picture. I asked her why, and she said sometimes grown-ups cry about happy things. Stone felt something crack open in his chest, something that had been sealed shut for 8 years. I'm sorry I wasn't there, he said. I'm sorry I didn't know. It's okay. You're coming now. That's what matters. He didn't deserve this kid's forgiveness. He knew that. But he would take it anyway. The desert gave way to scattered buildings, fast food joints, gas stations. Stone was getting closer. Lily, I need you to be extra quiet now. I'm almost there. 20 minutes. Okay. And Lily, whatever happens, you stay under that bed until you hear me say the words. Even if you hear fighting, even if you hear yelling, you stay hidden. What if something bad happens to you? Stone almost laughed. Nothing bad is going to happen to me. I've been through a lot worse than Marcus. Suddenly, Lily's breathing changed. It got faster. More panicked. What is it? Stone demanded. I hear footsteps. Her voice was barely audible. He's coming upstairs. Stone's blood turned to ice. Stay quiet. Don't make a sound. I'm scared. I know, but you're going to be okay. Just breathe. In and out. Nice and slow. Through the phone, Stone heard heavy footsteps on creaking stairs. Each step felt like a countdown. Where are you, you little brat? Marcus's voice was slurred. Drunk. Angry. I know you're up here somewhere, Lily whimpered. Shh, Stone whispered. He doesn't know where you are. Just stay still. A door slammed open. Stone could hear Marcus moving around, cursing, knocking things over. Your mama's asking for you. Marcus's voice got closer. She keeps calling your name. It's pathetic, really. Woman can barely keep her eyes open and she's worried about you. Stone's grip on the steering wheel turned white. 15 minutes. He was still 15 minutes away. Check the closet first, he breathed to Lily, so quiet he could barely hear himself. He'll check the closet first. He didn't know if Lily heard him, but a moment later he heard the closet door bang open. Not in here. Marcus sounded frustrated. Where are you hiding, kid? Stone held his breath. The footsteps moved around the room. Stop. Start. Stop again. Whatever. You're gonna have to come out eventually. And when you do... Marcus didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. The threat hung in the air like smoke. The footsteps retreated. Stone heard them going back down the stairs. Is he gone? He whispered. Lily's breathing slowly returned to normal. I think so. Good. You did perfect. Absolutely perfect. He almost looked under the bed. He was right there. I could see his feet. But he didn't look, and you stayed quiet. That takes real courage. Stone blew through a red light. No cops, no cameras, just empty streets and his pounding heart. 10 minutes, Lily. I'm almost there. Okay. Her voice was tired, drained. Stone. Yeah? I'm glad Mommy gave me the magic phone. Me too, kid. Me too. The next 7 minutes felt like hours. Stone talked to Lily about anything and everything. Her favorite color purple, her teacher's name Mrs. Williams, the dog she wanted to get someday, a golden retriever named Sunshine. He learned that she loved drawing unicorns, that her best friend was a girl named Emma. That name made his chest hurt in ways he couldn't explain. He learned that Grace read to her every night before bed and that her favorite book was about a velveteen rabbit. This was his daughter. He knew it now with complete certainty. This brave, scared, beautiful little girl was his flesh and blood, and he had missed 6 years of her life. "Lily, I'm on your street." "Really? Really, I'm going to hang up now. But remember what I told you. Stay hidden until you hear the words." "Lily, it's Stone. It's safe now." "That's right. I'll see you soon." "Stone. Yeah, thank you for coming." He couldn't speak. His throat was too tight, so he just hung up the phone and pulled up to the house. The place was exactly what he'd expected. Run down. Dark. One window cracked and taped. A rusted pickup truck in the driveway. Stone cut his engine and sat for a moment steadying his breath. He wasn't young anymore. He wasn't in a club with brothers at his back. He was a 52-year-old man with bad knees and a lifetime of regrets. But none of that mattered. There was a little girl in that house who had called him Daddy. There was a woman on the floor who might be dying. And there was a man inside who had hurt them both. Stone reached under his seat and pulled out the hunting knife. He slid it into his boot. Then he opened the door and stepped out into the darkness. The front door was unlocked. Stupid. Marcus was drunk and careless. Good. Stone pushed it open slowly. The TV was playing in the living room. Blue light flickered against the walls. He moved through the entryway silent despite his size. Years of practice. Years of doing things he wasn't proud of. At least now those skills might save his daughter. The kitchen was to his left. He saw her first. Grace. She lay on the floor, her dark hair matted with blood. Her breathing was shallow but steady. Her eyes fluttered when Stone knelt beside her. "Grace," he whispered. "It's Stone. I'm here." Her eyes opened fully. Confusion. Then recognition. Then tears. You came." "Yeah, I came." He touched her face gently. "Where are you hurt?" "My head. He hit me. With a bottle. I tried to protect Lily." "Lily's safe. She's hiding upstairs. She called me." Grace's lips trembled. "My brave girl. I taught her. I taught her to call you. I know you did." Stone looked toward the living room. The TV still blared. "Where's Marcus?" "Living room. He passed out, maybe an hour ago, I think." Stone nodded. "I'm going to take care of this. Then I'm getting you and Lily out of here." "Stone." Grace grabbed his arm with surprising strength. "She's yours, Lily. She's your daughter. I wanted to tell you, but you were so broken after Emma died. I didn't want to add more to your pain." Stone looked into her eyes. The same eyes Lily had. "I know. We'll talk about it later. Right now I need to handle Marcus." He stood and moved toward the living room. Marcus was sprawled on the couch, a half-empty whiskey bottle dangling from his hand. He was a big man. Not as big as Stone, but big enough. Drug paraphernalia littered the coffee table. Needles. Pipes. Little plastic bags with white powder. Stone stood over him for a long moment. This was the man who had hurt Grace, who had terrorized Lily, who had made their lives a living hell. It would be so easy to end it right here. But then he thought of Lily. That little voice on the phone, those innocent questions. He couldn't let her know him as a killer. Stone reached down and shook Marcus hard. "Wake up!" Marcus's eyes snapped open. Bloodshot, confused, then angry. "Who the hell are—" Stone grabbed him by the throat and lifted him off the couch. Marcus's feet dangled 2 inches above the floor. "You're going to listen very carefully," Stone said. His voice was calm. Deadly calm. "I'm taking Grace and Lily. You're going to stay here and wait for the cops. And if you ever come near either of them again, I will find you. I will take my time. And no one will ever find your body. Do you understand?" Marcus tried to speak, but Stone's grip was too tight. He just nodded, his face turning purple. "Good." Stone dropped him onto the floor. "Stay." He turned and walked back to the kitchen. Grace was trying to sit up. "Don't," he said. "You might have a concussion. Let me carry you." "Lily, I'm getting her next." Stone scooped Grace into his arms. She weighed almost nothing. Had she been eating? He carried her to his truck and laid her gently in the back seat. Then he went back for Lily. The stairs creaked under his weight. He moved down the hallway to the bedroom at the end. The door was closed. He opened it slowly. "Lily," he called. "It's Stone. It's safe now." For a moment, nothing happened. Then he saw movement under the bed. A small face peered out. Big eyes. Dark hair. A teddy bear with mismatched eyes clutched to her chest. "You came," she whispered. "I promised, didn't I?" Lily crawled out from under the bed and stood up. She was so small. Pink unicorn pajamas stained with what looked like her mother's blood. Tears streaking her cheeks. Stone knelt down to her level. "Your mommy's in my truck. She's hurt, but she's going to be okay. We're going to take her to the hospital. Is that okay with you?" Lily nodded. She studied his face carefully, comparing it maybe to the picture in her mother's drawer. "You have sad eyes," she said. Stone didn't know how to respond to that. "Yeah, I guess I do. Mommy said you lost someone. She said that's why you went away." "Your mommy was right." Lily reached out and touched his beard. Her tiny fingers were so gentle. "I'm sorry you lost them, but maybe you don't have to be so sad anymore, because you found me." Something broke open inside Stone, something that had been frozen solid for 8 years. He felt tears burning in his eyes for the first time since Emma's funeral. "Yeah," he said, his voice rough. "Maybe you're right." He picked her up and held her against his chest. She wrapped her arms around his neck and buried her face in his shoulder. "Let's go," he said. "Let's get your mommy to the hospital." He carried her down the stairs, past the living room, where Marcus still lay on the floor, out the front door, and into the night air. Grace was conscious in the back seat. When she saw Lily, she started crying. "My baby. My brave, brave baby." Stone set Lily in the back seat, next to her mother. The little girl immediately curled up against Grace's side, still holding butterscotch. Stone got behind the wheel and started the engine. In the rearview mirror, he watched Grace stroke Lily's hair, watched Lily's eyes start to close, exhausted from fear and adrenaline. This was his family. He knew that now, and he would burn down the whole world to protect them. He pulled out of the driveway and headed for the hospital. The clock on his dashboard read 3:47 a.m. In less than 2 hours, his entire life had changed. And somewhere deep inside his chest, in a place he thought had died, with Emma Stone, felt something impossible. He felt hope. The hospital doors slid open, and Stone carried Grace through like she weighed nothing. Lily ran beside him, clutching butterscotch, her bare feet slapping against the cold tile floor. "I need help," Stone's voice boomed through the empty emergency room. "She's got a head wound, been unconscious off and on for over an hour." A nurse rushed forward, then another. Within seconds, Grace was on a gurney being wheeled away. She reached out her fingers, brushing Stone's arm. "Lily," she gasped. "Don't let them take Lily." "I won't. I promise." Then she was gone, disappearing through a set of double doors. Stone stood there, breathing hard, his shirt stained with Grace's blood. "Sir." A young nurse approached him cautiously. "Sir, is that your daughter?" Stone looked down. Lily had pressed herself against his leg, her small hand gripping his jeans like a lifeline. "Yeah," he said. The word felt strange on his tongue. Foreign, but also right. "Yeah, she's mine." "We need to get some information. Can you come with me to the front desk?" Stone nodded. He reached down and picked up Lily. She wrapped her arms around his neck immediately, her face buried in his shoulder. He could feel her trembling. "It's okay," he murmured. "Mommy's going to be okay. The doctors are helping her. I want to see her. Soon. We have to let the doctors do their job first." At the front desk, a tired woman with glasses peered at him over her computer screen. "Patient's name, Grace Chen. Relationship to patient." Stone hesitated. What was he? An ex, the father of her child. A stranger who'd shown up after 7 years. "I'm family," he said finally. The woman's eyes flicked to Lily, then back to Stone. She didn't push it. "Do you have her insurance information?" "No." "Social security number?" "No." "Emergency contact?" Stone's jaw tightened. "That would be me." The woman sighed. "Sir, I'm going to need you to fill out these forms as best you can. In the meantime, why don't you take a seat in the waiting area? Someone will come update you on her condition." Stone took the clipboard and found a seat in the corner of the waiting room. Lily sat on his lap, still clutching her teddy bear. The clock on the wall read 4:15 a.m. "Stone, yeah, kid? Is the bad man going to come here?" Stone's hand instinctively moved to his boot where the hunting knife was still hidden. "No, he's not coming anywhere near you or your mom, ever again. Promise. I promise." Lily was quiet for a moment. Then she looked up at him with those big brown eyes. "You make a lot of promises." "Yeah, I do." "Do you keep them?" The question hit Stone like a sledgehammer. He thought about all the promises he'd broken over the years. The promises to his ex-wife. The promises to his brothers in the club. The promise to pick up Emma from soccer practice the day she died. "I'm trying to," he said. "I'm trying real hard." Lily seemed to accept this. She leaned her head against his chest and closed her eyes. "I'm tired," she whispered. "Then sleep. I'll wake you up when there's news about your mom." "You won't leave. I won't leave." Within minutes, her breathing slowed. Stone sat perfectly still, afraid to move, afraid to wake her. This tiny person trusted him completely. She'd called him in the middle of the night and he'd come. Now she was sleeping in his arms like he was the safest place in the world. He didn't deserve this. He knew that. But he would die before he let her down. An hour passed. Then 2. Nurses came and went. Other patients shuffled through the waiting room. Stone didn't move. At 6:30 a.m., a doctor finally emerged through the double doors. "Family of Grace Chen." Stone stood carefully, Lily still asleep against his shoulder. "That's me." The doctor was young. Too young, Stone thought, but his eyes were kind. "Ms. Chen has a severe concussion. and required 12 stitches to close the wound on her head. She also has 2 cracked ribs and extensive bruising. But she's stable. She's going to be okay. Stone exhaled. He hadn't realized he'd been holding his breath. Can I see her? In a little while. She's resting now. The doctor paused. Sir, the nature of her injuries. They're consistent with domestic violence. I'm required by law to report this to the police. Good, Stone said. You do that. The man who did this is named Marcus Vance. He's at 247 Caldwell Street. He'll still be there. The doctor nodded. The police will want to speak with you as well. I'll be here. After the doctor left, Stone sat back down. Lily stirred in his arms. Mommy, she mumbled. Mommy's okay. She's resting. We can see her soon. Lily's eyes opened fully. She looked around the waiting room, confused for a moment. Then she remembered. We're at the hospital. Yeah. Is the bad man in jail? Not yet, but he will be. Good. She said it with such finality that Stone almost smiled. He deserves to be in jail forever. Yeah, he does. At 7:00 a.m., a different kind of visitor arrived. Stone saw her coming before she reached them, a woman in a gray pantsuit carrying a folder with that particular look in her eyes. He'd seen that look before. Social workers, child protective services, the people who decided if you were fit to be a parent. Mr. Reynolds, Stone's guard went up immediately. Who's asking? My name is Patricia Wells. I'm with Child Protective Services. She glanced at Lily. I need to speak with you about the child. Stone's arms tightened around Lily instinctively. She's staying with me. Sir, I understand this is a difficult situation, but I need to assess. She's staying with me. Patricia Wells was not intimidated. She'd clearly dealt with men like Stone before. Mr. Reynolds, I'm not here to take anyone anywhere. I just need to ask some questions and determine what's in the best interest of the child. Her name is Lily. What's in the best interest of Lily, then? Patricia softened slightly. Can we sit down and talk? Stone didn't want to. Every instinct told him to grab Lily and run, but running wouldn't solve anything. It would only make things worse. Fine, he said. But she stays with me the whole time. They sat in a corner of the waiting room. Lily was awake now, watching the social worker with wary eyes. Lily, Patricia said gently. My name is Patricia. I'm here to make sure you're okay. Can I ask you some questions? Lily looked at Stone. He nodded. Okay, she said quietly. Can you tell me what happened last night? Lily's hand found Stone's. She held on tight. The bad man Marcus, he was yelling at Mommy. He's always yelling. But last night he hit her. With a bottle. Her voice shook. There was blood everywhere. Mommy fell down and she wasn't getting up. Patricia wrote something in her folder. What did you do then? I ran to Mommy's room. She always told me if something really bad happened, I should get the magic phone from under her mattress and call the number. So I did. And who answered? Lily looked up at Stone. My daddy. Patricia's pen stopped moving. She looked at Stone with new eyes. You're the father. Yeah. Were you aware of Lily's existence before last night? Stone's jaw tightened. No. So you had no contact with Ms. Chen or Lily for the past 6 years, 7 years. Grace and I, we were together for a few months. Then she left. I didn't know she was pregnant. Patricia wrote more notes. Stone wanted to rip that folder out of her hands. Mr. Reynolds, what is your current living situation? I have a trailer outside of town. Employment. I do odd jobs, mechanic work mostly. Any criminal record? Stone felt Lily's hand tighten in his. Yeah, I've got a record. Can you be more specific? Assault. Twice. Bar fights from a long time ago. Did 18 months for one of them. Patricia's expression remained neutral, but Stone could see the judgment forming behind her eyes. Mr. Reynolds, I appreciate your honesty, but given your lack of established relationship with Lily, your criminal history, and your current living situation, I have some concerns about. I'm her father. That hasn't been confirmed. Then confirm it. Stone leaned forward. Do a DNA test. Do whatever you need to do. But that little girl called me in the middle of the night because her mother told her I would come. And I came. I'm not going anywhere. Patricia studied him for a long moment. A DNA test can be arranged, but until paternity is established and until we've completed our assessment, I'm required to consider all options for Lily's placement. Placement. Stone's blood went cold. You mean foster care? Temporarily, yes. It's standard procedure when, no. The word came out hard. Final. Several people in the waiting room turned to look. Mr. Reynolds, I said no. Stone stood up, lifting Lily with him. You're not taking her. She's been through enough. She's not going to some stranger's house to wait while you push paper and check boxes. Patricia stood as well. I understand you're upset. You don't understand anything. Stone's voice was low, dangerous. You see a guy with tattoos and a record, and you've already decided he's not fit to be a father. But where were you last night when Lily was hiding under a bed while her mother bled on the floor? Where was the system that was supposed to protect her? I'm not your enemy, Mr. Reynolds. Then stop acting like it. Lily tugged on Stone's shirt. Stone, you're scaring me. The words cut through his anger like a blade. He looked down at her frightened face and felt the fight drain out of him. I'm sorry, sweetheart. He took a breath. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. Patricia watched this exchange carefully. Something shifted in her expression. Mr. Reynolds, she said quietly, why don't we take a step back? I can see that Lily trusts you, and given the circumstances of last night, I'm willing to make some allowances. For now, she can stay with you while we conduct our investigation, but I'll need to schedule a home visit within the next 48 hours. Stone nodded slowly. Fine. That's fine. And the DNA test. Do it now. The sooner we confirm I'm her father, the sooner you can close your file and leave us alone. Patricia almost smiled. I'll make the arrangements. An hour later, a nurse came to draw Stone's blood. Lily watched with fascination. Does it hurt? Not really, just a little pinch. I don't like needles. Me neither, kid, but sometimes you gotta do things you don't like. The nurse finished and labeled the vial. Results should be back in 24 to 48 hours. Stone nodded. He already knew what the results would say. At 9:13 a.m., they were finally allowed to see Grace. She looked small in the hospital bed. Her head was bandaged, her face swollen and bruised, but her eyes were open, and they lit up when Lily rushed to her side. Mommy. Baby. Grace's voice was weak, but full of love. My brave, brave baby. Lily climbed onto the bed, carefully mindful of her mother's injuries. She curled up against Grace's side, just like she had in the truck. Stone hung back by the door. He wasn't sure what to say. Wasn't sure where he fit in this picture. Grace looked at him over Lily's head. You stayed. Yeah. Thank you, Stone. Thank you for coming. He shrugged awkwardly. You gave her that number for a reason. I wasn't sure you'd still have it, after all these years. I wasn't sure either. Grace's eyes filled with tears. I should have told you about Lily. I wanted to so many times. But after Emma, after everything you went through, I didn't want to burden you with another child you might lose. The mention of Emma's name sent a jolt through Stone's chest. You knew about Emma. You told me that last night we were together. You got drunk, and you told me everything about the accident, about how it was supposed to be your weekend with her, about how you blamed yourself. Stone leaned against the wall. His legs suddenly felt unsteady. I found out I was pregnant 2 weeks after you left, Grace continued. I tried to find you, but you'd disappeared. No one in the club would tell me where you were. It was like you'd vanished. I left town, went to Nevada, stayed there ever since. I figured that out eventually. I found your address about a year ago. That's when I started teaching Lily about the magic phone. Grace reached out her hand toward him. I always knew that if we ever really needed you, you'd come. Stone crossed the room and took her hand. It was cold. Fragile. The social worker was here, he said. CPS. Grace's face went pale. Are they taking Lily? No, not if I can help it. They're doing a DNA test. Once it confirms I'm her father, I'll have rights. And then what? Stone looked at Lily, who had fallen asleep against her mother's shoulder. Then I'll keep my promise. I'll keep her safe. Grace squeezed his hand. I believe you. At 11:00 a.m., 2 police officers arrived to take statements. Stone told them everything. The phone call, the address, finding Grace on the floor, confronting Marcus. He left out the part about threatening to make Marcus disappear. Some things the cops didn't need to know. And you say Mr. Vance was still in the house when you left. The officer was skeptical. He was on the floor when I walked out. Whether he stayed there, I couldn't tell you. We'll send a unit to check. An hour later, Stone got the news. Marcus was gone. The house was empty. He ran, the officer said. But don't worry, we'll find him. Stone wasn't worried about the cops finding Marcus. He was worried about Marcus finding them first. That afternoon, a nurse offered to watch Lily so Stone could get some coffee. He accepted, though he didn't go far. Just to the vending machine at the end of the hall. He was feeding dollar bills into the machine when his phone buzzed. The old flip phone. The one only Grace had the number to. Except Grace was in her hospital bed. And Lily didn't have the phone anymore. Stone answered slowly. Who is this? You think you can just walk into my house and take what's mine? Marcus's voice was ragged, unhinged. You think this is over? Stone's blood turned to ice. How did you get this number? I found the phone in Lily's pajamas. Figured it must be important if the kid was hiding it. And look at that, you answered. Listen to me very carefully, Marcus. You come anywhere near Grace or Lily and I will end you. Big talk from an old man. Marcus laughed. It was an ugly sound. I know who you are, Stone. I did some asking around. Used to be Hell's Angels, right, big, scary biker. But that was a long time ago. Now you're just some washed-up drunk living in a trailer. Stone's grip on the phone tightened. You don't know anything about me. I know you've got something that belongs to me. Grace and I had a good thing going before you showed up. She was mine. Lily was mine. And you took them. They were never yours. We'll see about that. Marcus's voice dropped to a whisper. I'll be seeing you real soon, Stone. You and my girls. The line went dead. Stone stood in the hospital hallway, his heart pounding. He looked back toward Grace's room where Lily was sleeping peacefully. Marcus was out there. Angry, desperate, dangerous. And Stone had just promised to protect the only family he had left. He walked back to Grace's room with a new purpose. He didn't tell her about the phone call, didn't want to scare her, but he positioned himself in the chair closest to the door, and he didn't take his eyes off that entrance for the rest of the day. At 6:00 p.m., Patricia Wells returned for a follow-up visit. She seemed surprised to find Stone still there. "You haven't left? I said I wouldn't." She nodded slowly, making a note in her folder. "The DNA results should be back by tomorrow morning. In the meantime, I've made arrangements for Lily to stay with you tonight. I'll need that address for your trailer." Stone gave it to her. "When's the home visit?" "Day after tomorrow. 10 a.m. "I'll be ready." Patricia looked at Lily, who was drawing a picture on the back of a hospital menu. Then she looked at Stone. Really looked at him for the first time. "You know," she said quietly, "I've been doing this job for 15 years. I've seen a lot of fathers. Biological fathers who couldn't care less about their kids. Stepfathers who treated children like property. And sometimes I see a man who didn't know he was a father until fate dropped a child in his lap. Those men are the ones I watch the closest. And what do you see when you watch me?" Patricia smiled slightly. "I see a man who's terrified of screwing up again, which in my experience usually means he won't." She left without another word. At 8:00 p.m., the hospital staff insisted that visiting hours were over. Grace needed rest, and Lily needed a real bed. Stone stood at Grace's bedside, unsure of how to say goodbye. "I'll bring her back first thing tomorrow," he promised. "I know you will." Grace touched his face gently. "Take care of her, Stone. She's the best thing I ever did." Stone looked down at Lily, who was holding his hand and clutching butterscotch with the other. "Ready to go, kid?" Lily looked at her mother, then at Stone, then back at her mother. "I don't want to leave Mommy." Grace's eyes filled with tears. "I'll be okay, baby. The doctors are taking good care of me, and Stone is going to take good care of you. It's just for one night. Promise. I promise." Lily climbed onto the bed and hugged her mother carefully. "I love you, Mommy." "I love you too, baby. More than anything in the whole world." Stone picked Lily up and carried her toward the door. She watched her mother over his shoulder until they turned the corner and Grace disappeared from view. In the truck, Lily was quiet. Stone drove through the dark streets heading for his trailer on the outskirts of town. "Stone." "Yeah." "Is your house nice?" He thought about his cramped trailer, the dirty dishes in the sink, the empty beer cans he hadn't bothered to clean up. "It's not fancy," he admitted. "But it's warm and safe. That's what matters." "Okay." More silence. Then, "Stone, yeah, I'm glad the magic phone called you." His throat tightened. "Me too, kid. Me too." They pulled up to the trailer park at 9:30 p.m. Stone carried Lily inside, suddenly embarrassed by the mess. But she didn't seem to notice. She was too tired. He found his cleanest t-shirt and helped her change out of her stained pajamas. He tucked her into his bed, the only bed in the trailer, and pulled the covers up to her chin. "Where will you sleep?" she asked. "The couch. It's not very big. I've slept in worse places." Lily was quiet for a moment. Then she held up butterscotch. "You can borrow him tonight, in case you get scared." Something cracked open in Stone's chest. Again. This kid was going to destroy him. "Thanks, sweetheart. But I think Butterscotch should stay with you. He's your protector." "But you're my protector now." The words hung in the air. Stone didn't know what to say, didn't know how to be what this child needed him to be. "Good night, Lily." "Good night, Daddy." It was the first time she'd called him that out loud. Not Stone. Daddy. He turned off the light and walked to the couch. He didn't sleep, didn't even try. Instead, he sat in the darkness listening to Lily's soft breathing and planned what he would do when Marcus came. Because Marcus would come. Stone was certain of that. And when he did, Stone would be ready. Stone woke to the sound of crying. He was off the couch before his eyes fully opened, moving through the dark trailer on instinct. Lily was sitting up in his bed, butterscotch pressed to her chest, tears streaming down her face. "Hey, hey." Stone knelt beside her. "What's wrong?" "Bad dream." "I thought you left." Her voice was tiny, broken. "I woke up and it was dark, and I couldn't see you." "I'm right here. I told you I wasn't going anywhere." Lily reached for him with trembling hands. Stone hesitated for just a moment, then pulled her into his arms. She buried her face against his chest and sobbed. "I keep seeing it," she whispered. "The bad man hitting Mommy. The blood, I can't make it stop." Stone held her tighter. He knew exactly what she meant. He'd spent years trying to make his own nightmares stop. The screech of tires, the crunch of metal. Emma's empty car seat. "Listen to me." He tilted her chin up so she could see his eyes. "What happened to your mommy wasn't your fault. You understand you did everything right. You called for help. You were brave." "I was so scared." "Being scared doesn't mean you weren't brave. It means you were brave anyway." Lily sniffled. "Really? Really? The bravest people I've ever known were scared out of their minds. They just didn't let it stop them." She wiped her nose with the back of her hand. "Were you scared when you came to get us? Terrified? But you came anyway." "Yeah, I came anyway." Lily was quiet for a moment. Then she looked up at him with those big brown eyes. "Can you stay with me until I fall asleep again?" Stone's throat tightened. "Yeah, kid, I can do that." He climbed onto the bed beside her, his large frame taking up most of the mattress. Lily curled against his side, her small hand resting on his chest. "Stone." "Yeah, thank you for being my daddy." He couldn't speak. The words were stuck somewhere behind the lump in his throat. So he just held her and listened to her breathing slow until she drifted off to sleep. This time he stayed. Morning came too fast. Stone's phone rang at 7:30 a.m. He grabbed it before it could wake Lily. "Mr. Reynolds, this is Patricia Wells." "What is it?" "The DNA results came back early. I thought you'd want to know." Stone's heart hammered. "And congratulations, Mr. Reynolds. You're Lily Chen's biological father." He closed his eyes. He'd known it was true, but hearing the words made it real. "What happens now?" "Now we proceed with the home visit as planned. Given the circumstances, I'm prepared to recommend temporary custody while Ms. Chen recovers. But the home visit needs to go well." "It will." "I hope so, Mr. Reynolds, for Lily's sake." Stone hung up and looked at his trailer. Really looked at it. Empty beer cans, dirty dishes, clothes on the floor. The place was a disaster. He had less than 24 hours to make it look like a home. Lily woke up an hour later. She found Stone on his hands and knees scrubbing the kitchen floor. "What are you doing?" "Cleaning." "Why?" "Because a lady is coming to look at our house. And if she thinks it's a good house, you get to stay with me." Lily's face brightened. "I can help." Stone almost said no. Then he saw the hope in her eyes. "Okay, you can be in charge of picking up the clothes." They worked together all morning. Stone scrubbed and swept and threw away years of accumulated junk. Lily gathered clothes and put them in the laundry basket, chattering the whole time about her favorite cartoons and the games she played at recess. By noon, the trailer looked almost respectable. We need food, Stone realized. The fridge is empty. Can we get cereal? Mommy always gets me cereal with the little marshmallows. Yeah, we can get cereal. The grocery store was an adventure. Stone hadn't shopped for anyone but himself in years. Now he found himself standing in the cereal aisle staring at a wall of colorful boxes while a 6-year-old gave him instructions. That one. No, not that one. The one with the rainbow. This one. Yes, and we need milk and orange juice. Mommy always makes me drink orange juice. Then Stone grabbed everything Lily pointed at. Cereal, juice, bread, peanut butter, a frozen pizza, some vegetables he had no idea how to cook. At the checkout, the cashier smiled at them. Your daughter's adorable. Stone froze. No one had called him a father in 8 years. Thanks, he managed. In the truck, Lily looked at him. She said I was your daughter. She did. Is that okay? Stone turned to face her. Lily, you are my daughter. I just found out for sure this morning. The doctors did a test and it proved it. Her eyes went wide. So you're really my daddy? For real? For real? Lily threw her arms around his neck. I knew it. I knew the magic phone would work. Stone held her close, breathing in the scent of strawberry shampoo. His daughter. His second chance. Let's go see your mommy, he said. She's going to want to hear the news. At the hospital, Grace was sitting up in bed. The swelling on her face had gone down, but the bruises were darker, purple and yellow and angry. Mommy! Lily ran to her and climbed onto the bed. Careful, baby. Mommy's still sore. Stone is really my daddy. The doctors said so. Grace looked at Stone. Her eyes were wet. I know. Patricia called me. So it's official. It's official. Grace reached out her hand. Stone took it. I'm sorry I kept this from you for so long. You did what you thought was right. I'm not going to hold that against you. The social worker said you're going to fight for custody. Temporary custody. Until you're back on your feet. Grace squeezed his hand. And then what? Then we figure it out. Together. Lily looked between them with hopeful eyes. Does this mean we're going to be a family? Stone and Grace exchanged a glance. Neither of them had an answer for that. We're going to take it one day at a time, Grace said finally. But no matter what, you're going to be loved. By both of us. Lily seemed satisfied with that. She settled against her mother's side and started telling her about the grocery store and the cleaning and the cereal with the little marshmallows. Stone stepped into the hallway to give them time alone. He was leaning against the wall when his phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Nice truck in the hospital parking lot. Blue Ford, right? I know where you are, Stone. I'm always watching. Stone's blood went cold. He looked toward the elevator, then the stairwell, then the windows at the end of the hall. Marcus was here. Or close. He walked back into Grace's room, keeping his face calm. Hey, Lily. Why don't you stay here with your mom for a bit? I need to go check on something. What is it? Just some boring grown-up stuff. I'll be right back. Grace saw something in his eyes. Stone. What's wrong? Nothing. Just stay here. Keep the door closed. He kissed Lily on the forehead the first time he'd done that, and left the room. His hand moved to his boot where the knife was hidden. The hospital corridors were busy. Doctors, nurses, patients, visitors. Any one of them could be working with Marcus. Any one of them could be watching. Stone took the stairs to the parking lot. He walked slowly, deliberately, checking every shadow. His truck was exactly where he'd left it. But something was wrong. The driver's side window was smashed. Glass littered the seat. And on the dashboard, someone had left a note. You took my family. Now I take yours." Stone crumpled the note in his fist. His jaw tightened so hard his teeth ached. This wasn't just a threat. This was a promise. He pulled out his phone and made a call he'd sworn he'd never make. It rang 3 times before someone answered. "Who is this?" "It's Stone." Silence. Then a low whistle. "Stone Reynolds, I'll be damned. We thought you were dead, brother. I might be soon if I don't get some help." "What kind of help?" "The kind that makes problems disappear." More silence. Then, "Where are you?" "Memorial Hospital, Reno." "I can have 2 guys there in an hour. But Stone, you know there's going to be a price." "I know." "And you're willing to pay it?" Stone thought about Lily, about her small hand in his, about the way she'd called him daddy. "I'll pay whatever it takes." "Then consider it done. Welcome back, brother." The line went dead. Stone stood in the parking lot, staring at his shattered window. He'd spent 8 years trying to leave his past behind. 8 years running from the man he used to be. But some debts couldn't be outrun. And right now the Hell's Angels were the only ones who could keep his daughter safe. He went back inside and told Grace he'd had some car trouble. She didn't believe him, but she didn't push. Not with Lily in the room. An hour later, 2 men walked into the hospital. Stone recognized them immediately. Razor with his shaved head and neck tattoos. And Duke, the biggest man Stone had ever met. "Stone." Razor grinned. "You look old." "Feel older. We checked the perimeter. No sign of your guy yet. But we'll find him. He's watching. He knows I'm here. Then we'll watch back. No one gets near this room without going through us first." Duke positioned himself by the door. Razor took the hallway. Stone finally allowed himself to breathe. "Who are they?" Grace asked quietly. "Old friends." "Hell's Angels." Stone nodded. "I know what you're thinking, but right now they're the only ones who can protect us. And after, what do they want in return? That's my problem, not yours." Grace reached for his hand. "It's our problem now, whether you like it or not." Stone didn't know what to say to that, so he just held her hand and watched the door. The day passed slowly. Lily drew pictures with crayons the nurses gave her. Grace slept off and on. Stone kept one eye on his daughter and one eye on the door. At 6 p.m., his phone rang. Razor. "We found him." Stone stepped into the hallway. "Where?" "Motel about 2 miles from the hospital. Room 107. He's got a gun, Stone. And from what we can tell, he's high as a kite." "Is he alone?" "Looks like it." Stone's mind raced. He could call the cops, let them handle it. But Marcus was unstable, dangerous. The cops might spook him into doing something stupid. "Keep eyes on him. I'm coming." "What are you going to do?" "End this." Stone walked back into Grace's room. Lily was asleep on the bed next to her mother. "I have to go," he said quietly. "Marcus." "Yeah." Stone let the police handle it. The police can't stop him. Not for good. You know that. He'll make bail. He'll get out. And he'll come back. He'll always come back. Grace's eyes filled with tears. "I don't want you to get hurt." "I won't." "Promise." There was that word again. Stone looked at his daughter, peacefully sleeping. "I promise." He kissed Grace on the forehead. Then he kissed Lily. And then he walked out of the room without looking back. The motel was exactly the kind of place Stone expected. Run-down, barely legal, the kind of place where people went to disappear. Razor met him in the parking lot. "Room 107. End of the building. One door, one window. He's been in there for 3 hours. Hasn't moved. Give me your gun. Razor hesitated. Stone, I'm not going to kill him. I just need insurance. Razor handed over a .45. Stone checked the chamber and tucked it in his waistband. Wait here. If I'm not out in 10 minutes, call the cops. You sure about this? No. Stone walked across the parking lot. His boots crunched on broken glass. His heart pounded in his chest. He stopped outside room 107, drew a breath, then kicked the door in. Marcus was on the bed, a needle still in his arm. He looked up confused as Stone stormed in. What the? Stone grabbed him by the throat and slammed him against the wall. The needle clattered to the floor. You threatened my family. I don't know what you're... Stone slammed him again, harder. You put a note on my truck. You said you were going to take them. You think I wouldn't find you? Marcus's eyes cleared. The fear set in. Stone, listen. No, you listen. Stone pulled the gun and pressed it under Marcus's chin. You're going to leave. Tonight. You're going to get in your car and drive as far away as you can. And you're never going to come back. Grace is mine. Grace was never yours. Stone's finger tightened on the trigger. You beat her. You terrorized her daughter. You're lucky I don't put a bullet in your head right now. You won't do it. Marcus tried to smirk, but the fear in his eyes betrayed him. You're not a killer. Stone leaned in close. His voice dropped to a whisper. I've been a lot of things you don't know about, and I've got friends outside who would make you disappear without a trace. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to walk out that door. You're going to drive away. And if I ever see your face again, if you ever come within 100 miles of Grace or Lily, I will kill you. And no one will ever find your body. Marcus stared into Stone's eyes. Whatever he saw there made him go pale. Okay, he whispered. Okay, I'll go. Stone released him. Marcus slumped against the wall, gasping for breath. You've got 5 minutes to pack. My friends will follow you to the state line. If you stop, if you turn around, they have my permission to do whatever they want. Marcus nodded frantically. He started grabbing his things, stuffing them into a bag with shaking hands. Stone watched until he was done. Then he followed him to his car. Remember what I said? You come back, you die. Marcus didn't answer. He just got in his car and drove away, tires squealing. Razor appeared beside Stone. You let him go. He's not worth the bullet. And if he comes back... Stone watched the taillights disappear into the darkness. Then I won't be so generous. They drove back to the hospital in silence. Stone's hands were still shaking. Not from fear, from the effort of holding himself back. He'd wanted to kill Marcus, wanted it badly. But he'd thought about Lily, about the kind of father he wanted to be. Emma's father had been a killer. Lily's father was going to be better. At the hospital, Grace was awake, waiting. Is it done? It's done. He's gone. For good. I made sure of it. Grace started crying. Stone sat on the edge of the bed and held her while she sobbed. I was so scared, she whispered. For years I was so scared, and now it's over. It's over. Lily stirred. Mommy, why are you crying? Happy tears, baby. Mommy's crying happy tears. Lily looked at Stone. Did you make the bad man go away? Yeah, sweetheart. He's gone. He's never coming back. Lily smiled. It was the first real smile he'd seen from her. I knew you would. I knew my daddy would protect us. Stone felt something break inside him. Something that had been frozen for 8 years finally cracking open. He wasn't just a father anymore. He was the father he should have been all along. The next morning, Patricia Wells arrived for the home visit. Stone was nervous. The trailer was clean, the fridge was stocked, but it was still a trailer. Still a far cry from the kind of home a child deserved. But Patricia surprised him. She looked around, nodded approvingly at the cleanliness, and sat down at the small kitchen table. "Mr. Reynolds, I'm going to be honest with you. On paper, you're not an ideal candidate for custody. Your criminal record, your living situation, your lack of established relationship with Lily, these are all concerns." Stone's heart sank. But I've been doing this job for 15 years, and in that time I've learned that the best parent isn't always the one with the biggest house or the cleanest record. Sometimes the best parent is the one who shows up when it matters. She opened her folder and pulled out a form. "Based on my assessment, I'm recommending temporary custody of Lily Chen to her biological father, Garrett Reynolds, pending Ms. Chen's recovery. This will be reviewed in 3 months. Stone stared at her. "You're serious?" "I'm serious." Patricia smiled slightly. "Don't make me regret it." "I won't. I swear I won't." After Patricia left, Stone sat on the couch and let the reality sink in. He was a father again. His phone buzzed, a text from Razor. "Marcus crossed into California an hour ago, still driving west. He's not coming back." Stone exhaled. For the first time in days, he felt like he could breathe. He drove to the hospital to tell Grace the news. When he walked into her room, Lily ran to him and jumped into his arms. "Daddy." The word still hit him like a punch to the chest, but now it was a good punch, the best kind. "Hey, sweetheart, I've got some news." He told them about the home visit, about the custody recommendation. Grace cried again, happy tears, she insisted. "When can I come home with you?" Lily asked. "Tomorrow. The doctor says Mommy needs a few more days here, but you can come home with me tomorrow." "Our home." Stone looked at his daughter. His second chance. "Yeah, Lily. Our home." The first morning was chaos. Stone woke up to smoke filling the trailer. He'd tried to make pancakes. The pan was on fire. "Daddy!" Lily ran out of the bedroom, eyes wide. "What's happening?" Stone grabbed the pan and threw it in the sink, running water over the flames. "Nothing. Everything's fine. I burned the pancakes." Lily looked at the charred mess. Then she looked at Stone, covered in flour smoke, still swirling around him. She started laughing. "It's not funny," Stone grumbled. "It's really funny." She was doubled over now, clutching her stomach. "You look like a ghost." Stone caught a glimpse of himself in the window. White powder everywhere. He did look ridiculous. A smile tugged at his lips. "Okay, maybe it's a little funny. Can we have cereal instead?" "Yeah, cereal sounds good." They ate Lucky Charms at the small kitchen table. Lily picked out all the marshmallows first, just like Stone used to do when he was a kid. "Daddy?" "Yeah." "You're not very good at cooking." "No, I'm not." "That's okay. Mommy's not very good either. She burns things too." Stone smiled. "Then I guess we'll figure it out together." After breakfast, they drove to the hospital. Grace was sitting up, looking stronger. The bruises were fading from purple to yellow. "How was your first night?" she asked. "He burned the pancakes," Lily reported. "There was fire." Grace raised an eyebrow. "Fire, small fire, very small." Stone rubbed the back of his neck. "We had cereal instead. Maybe I should come home sooner than planned. The doctor said 3 more days. The doctor doesn't know about the fire hazard living in that trailer." Stone couldn't help but laugh. It felt strange. He hadn't laughed in years. The days fell into a rhythm. Stone would wake Lily up, attempt breakfast with varying degrees of success, and drive her to the hospital to see Grace. In the afternoons, they'd go to the park or the grocery store, or just drive around town. Lily talked constantly about her friends at school, about her favorite TV shows, about the dog she wanted someday. Stone listened to every word, memorizing her voice, storing up all the moments he'd missed. On the third day, she asked a question he wasn't ready for. "Daddy, why didn't you want me?" Stone nearly drove off the road. He pulled over and turned to face her. "What? Before, when I was a baby. Mommy said you went away. Was it because you didn't want me?" Stone's heart shattered into a million pieces. "No, God, no. Lily, I didn't even know you existed. Your mommy and we lost touch. She didn't tell me about you." "Why not?" How do you explain adult failures to a 6-year-old? Stone struggled for words. "I was very sad back then. I'd lost someone important to me. Your mommy was worried that if she told me about you, it would make me even sadder." "Who did you lose?" Stone took a breath. "My daughter. Her name was Emma. She died in a car accident 8 years ago." Lily's eyes went wide. "You had another daughter?" "Yeah." "What happened to her?" "She was 7 years old. She was at a birthday party and a bad driver hit her car on the way home." Stone's voice cracked. "I was supposed to pick her up, but I was busy with work. Her mom picked her up instead. And then—" He couldn't finish. The words stuck in his throat. Lily unbuckled her seatbelt and climbed into his lap. She wrapped her small arms around his neck. "I'm sorry you lost Emma." Stone held her tight. "Me too, sweetheart. Is that why you're sad sometimes when you think I'm not looking?" "This kid saw everything." "Yeah, that's why." "Well, you have me now." Lily pulled back and looked at him seriously. "I'm not going anywhere. I promise." Stone pressed his forehead against hers. "I'm going to hold you to that." That night he called his old therapist, Dr. Martinez. He hadn't spoken to her in 5 years. "Stone, is that really you?" "Yeah, it's me." "I thought you'd fallen off the face of the earth." "I tried to. But someone pulled me back." He told her everything. The phone call, finding Lily, the fight for custody. All of it. "You sound different," Dr. Martinez said. "You sound alive." "I feel alive. For the first time in 8 years." "What changed?" Stone looked at Lily, asleep in his bed, butterscotch tucked under her arm. "I got a second chance, and I'm not going to waste it." Dr. Martinez scheduled him for weekly sessions. Stone agreed without hesitation. He would do whatever it took to be the father Lily deserved. The next day, Grace was discharged from the hospital. Stone helped her into his truck. Lily bounced excitedly in the back seat. "Mommy's coming home. Mommy's coming home." "Where exactly is home?" Grace asked quietly. Stone had been thinking about this. "For now, the trailer. But I've been looking at apartments, something bigger, with a room for Lily." "And for me," Stone looked at her. "That's up to you. I'm not going to pressure you, Grace. We can take this as slow as you need." Grace was quiet for a moment. "The trailer's fine for now. We'll figure the rest out later." Living together was awkward at first. Stone gave Grace the bed and moved to a cot he'd bought at a thrift store. They orbited each other carefully, 2 people learning how to share space after years apart. But Lily was the glue. She drew them together, forcing them to communicate, to cooperate, to function as a unit. 1 week after Grace's discharge, Stone came home from work to find them cooking dinner together. Grace was teaching Lily how to stir sauce without splashing it everywhere. "Daddy, we're making spaghetti. I can see that." Stone kissed Lily on the head, then hesitated near Grace. He wasn't sure what they were to each other anymore. Grace solved it by reaching up and kissing his cheek. "Wash your hands. Dinner's almost ready." It wasn't much, but it felt like a beginning. 2 weeks in the court hearing arrived. Stone sat in the courtroom in his one good suit, a leftover from his brother's funeral 15 years ago. It barely fit. His tattoos peeked out from the collar and cuffs impossible to hide. Patricia Wells testified on his behalf. Mr. Reynolds has made extraordinary efforts to provide a stable home for Lily. His apartment is clean, well-stocked, and appropriate for a child. More importantly, Lily has formed a strong attachment to her father. Their bond is genuine. The judge, a stern woman in her 60s, peered at Stone over her glasses. "Mr. Reynolds, I've reviewed your criminal record. 2 assault charges, 18 months in prison. Can you explain why this court should trust you with a child?" Stone stood. His voice was steady. "Your Honor, I'm not going to pretend I was a good man. I made mistakes. Bad ones. I hurt people. I spent years running from my problems instead of facing them." He paused, collecting his thoughts. "But when that phone rang at 1:57 in the morning, and I heard my daughter's voice for the first time, something changed. She was scared and alone, and she called me for help. And I went, not because I'm a hero, but because that's what fathers do." He looked at Lily sitting in the front row with Grace. "I missed the first 6 years of her life. I can't get those back, but I can be there for every year she has left, and I will. No matter what this court decides, I will be there, because she's my daughter, and I love her." The courtroom was silent. Even the judge seemed moved. "Mr. Reynolds," she said finally, "the law is clear on matters of parental rights. You are Lily Chen's biological father. You have demonstrated a commitment to her welfare. Ms. Chen has testified that she supports joint custody." She signed a document and looked up. "I'm granting permanent joint custody of Lily Chen to Garrett Reynolds and Grace Chen. This court is adjourned." Lily ran to Stone and threw herself into his arms. "Does this mean you're really my daddy forever?" "Forever," he promised. Grace joined them, wrapping her arms around both of them. For that moment, they were a family. Patricia Wells approached as they left the courtroom. "Congratulations, Mr. Reynolds. Thank you. For everything. I told you I've seen a lot of fathers. You're one of the good ones." She smiled. "Prove me right." "I will." Outside the courthouse, Stone's phone rang. "Razor. Heard you won custody. Word travels fast. Your debt. The club wants to talk." Stone's stomach tightened. He'd known this was coming. "When?" "Tonight. The old meeting place. 8 o'clock. "I'll be there." Grace noticed the change in his expression. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Just some business I need to handle." "Club business." Stone nodded. "I owe them a debt. For keeping Marcus away. For protecting you and Lily." "What kind of debt?" "I don't know yet. But whatever it is, I'll handle it." Grace grabbed his arm. "Stone, you can't go back to that life. Not now. Not after everything we've built." "I know. I'll make them understand." That night, Stone drove to the old warehouse on the edge of town. He hadn't been there in 8 years, but he remembered every turn. Razor met him outside. "You ready?" "No. But let's get this over with." Inside, a dozen men sat around a table. At the head was Bull, the chapter president. He'd aged. Gray in his beard now, but his eyes were still sharp as steel. "Stone Reynolds. Never thought I'd see you walk through that door again." "Neither did I." "You look good. Being a daddy suits you." Stone didn't respond. He waited. Bull leaned back, You called in a favor. A big one. We ran off that lowlife Marcus kept eyes on your family for a week. That costs. What do you want? There's a run coming up. Cargo from Mexico. We need a driver. Stone's blood ran cold. You want me to run drugs? I want you to drive a truck. What's in it isn't your concern. I can't do that. I've got a daughter now. If I get caught, then don't get caught. Bull's voice hardened. You knew the price when you called. This isn't a negotiation. Stone looked around the room. Faces he'd known for years, brothers he'd bled with. But they weren't his brothers anymore. Not really. What if I say no? Bull's smile faded. Then we have a problem. And you know how we solve problems. The threat hung in the air. Stone understood. If he refused, they'd come for him. Maybe for Grace and Lily, too. When's the run? Next Saturday. You've got a week to get ready. Stone walked out without another word. His mind was racing. He couldn't do this. But he couldn't refuse either. He needed help. Real help. Not from the club. The next morning, he did something he never thought he'd do. He walked into the police station. I need to speak with someone about the Hells Angels. An hour later, he was in a small room with 2 FBI agents. Mr. Reynolds, the lead agent said, what you're proposing is extremely dangerous if the club finds out you're cooperating with us. I know the risks. They'll kill you. Probably. Then why do it? Stone pulled out his phone and showed them a picture. Lily at the park, smiling ice cream on her nose. Because I promised her I'd always be there, and I'm not going to break that promise. The agents exchanged glances. What exactly are you offering? I'll wear a wire. On the run next Saturday. You'll get everything names, routes, contacts in Mexico, enough to bring down the whole operation. And in return, protection. For me, for Grace, for Lily. New identities if necessary. Whatever it takes to keep my family safe. The agents conferred quietly. Then the lead agent nodded. Okay, Mr. Reynolds. You've got a deal. But you need to understand, once you're in, there's no backing out. If something goes wrong, nothing's going to go wrong. But even as he said it, Stone knew the truth. Everything could go wrong. And probably would. He had 1 week to prepare for the most dangerous gamble of his life. That night he didn't tell Grace what he was planning. He couldn't. If she knew, she'd try to stop him. Or worse, she'd worry herself sick. Instead, he tucked Lily into bed and read her a story. The Velveteen Rabbit, her favorite. Daddy, yeah, sweetheart, you seem sad tonight. I'm not sad, just tired. Lily studied him with those knowing eyes. You're worried about something. This kid. She saw right through him. A little bit, he admitted. But it's nothing for you to worry about. I'm handling it. Is it the bad men from your old life? Stone froze. What do you know about that? I heard Mommy talking to you. About the club. About owing them something. Stone sat on the edge of her bed. Lily, you don't need to worry about any of that. But I do worry. I don't want them to take you away. No one's taking me anywhere. Promise. There was that word again. Stone had made so many promises. Could he keep them all? I promise I'm going to do everything I can to stay with you. Forever. Lily seemed to accept this. She pulled Butterscotch close. I love you, Daddy. I love you too, sweetheart. More than you'll ever know. He kissed her forehead and turned off the light. In the hallway, Grace was waiting. You're planning something. Grace, don't lie to me. I've been watching you all day. Something's wrong. Stone took a breath. He'd promised no more secrets. But this... I'm handling the debt to the club. How? I can't tell you. Not yet. but I need you to trust me." Grace's eyes filled with tears. "The last time a man asked me to trust him, I ended up on a hospital floor. I'm not Marcus. I know you're not. But I'm scared, Stone. I'm scared of losing you. Lily's scared of losing you. We just found each other. I can't." Stone pulled her into his arms. She trembled against his chest. "I'm not going anywhere," he whispered. "I'm going to fix this. And when it's done, we're going to have a real life together. All three of us. I swear." Grace looked up at him. "What if something goes wrong?" "It won't." "But what if it does?" Stone held her face in his hands. "Then you take Lily and you run. You go somewhere safe and you build a new life. You tell her I loved her every single day. You tell her that her daddy did what he had to do to keep her safe." Grace started crying. "Don't talk like that. Don't you dare talk like that." "I'm just being honest. I hope it doesn't come to that. But if it does, you need to be ready." They stood in the hallway for a long time, holding each other in the darkness. Stone had 1 week. 1 week to prepare. 1 week to say goodbye, just in case. 1 week to become the father Lily deserved. The next morning he woke up early and made breakfast. Eggs this time. Only slightly burned. Lily ate every bite without complaint. "These are good, Daddy." "You're a terrible liar," she giggled. "Okay, they're kind of crunchy. But you're getting better." He was getting better. At cooking. At parenting. At being human again. Whatever happened next Saturday, at least he had this. This moment. This little girl. This second chance. He would protect it with his life. Because that's what fathers do. Saturday came too fast. Stone woke before dawn. Grace was still sleeping. Lily was curled up in her bed, butterscotch tucked under her chin. He stood in the doorway of her room, memorizing her face, the way her hair fell across her cheek, the soft rhythm of her breathing, the peace that only children know. This might be the last time he saw her. He pushed that thought away. He couldn't afford doubt. Not today. The FBI had wired him the night before. A tiny device no bigger than a button sewn into the lining of his jacket. They'd gone over the plan a dozen times. Drive the truck, record the conversation, let the feds handle the rest. Simple, clean, foolproof. Except nothing was ever foolproof with the Hell's Angels. Stone bent down and kissed Lily's forehead. She stirred, but didn't wake. "I love you," he whispered. "More than anything in this world." In the kitchen, Grace was waiting. She hadn't been asleep after all. "You're leaving." "I have to." "When will you be back?" Stone hesitated. "Tonight, maybe tomorrow morning." Grace's eyes were red. She'd been crying. "Stone, I have a bad feeling about this. It's going to be fine. You keep saying that, but every time you walk out that door, I wonder if you're coming back." Stone crossed the kitchen and took her hands. "Listen to me. Whatever happens today, I need you to know something. These past few weeks, they've been the best of my life. You and Lily, you saved me. I was dead inside and you brought me back. Don't talk like this is goodbye. It's not goodbye. It's just, in case." He pulled her close. "If something goes wrong, you take Lily, and you go to the address I left in the drawer. The FBI will protect you. They'll give you new identities, new lives. You'll be safe." Grace was crying now. "I don't want a new life. I want this one. With you. And you'll have it. I promise." He kissed her. Long and deep and desperate. Then he walked out the door. The meeting point was an abandoned gas station 20 miles outside town. Stone pulled up at exactly 7 a.m. 3 other trucks were already there, engines idling. Bull stepped out of the lead vehicle. "You showed. Did you think I wouldn't?" "Honestly, yeah. I figured you'd run. Most men with something to lose would." Stone kept his face blank. "I pay my debts." "Good. Then let's ride." The convoy headed south. Stone drove the third truck, a nondescript 18-wheeler with Arizona plates. He didn't know what was in the back. Didn't want to know. The wire was hot against his chest. Every word was being recorded. Every mile was being tracked. 3 hours into the drive, Bull's voice crackled over the radio. "Pit stop ahead. 5 minutes." They pulled into a rest area. Stone climbed out of his truck and stretched, playing the part. Casual, relaxed. Just another run. Razor approached him. "You good?" "Yeah, why? You seem tense." "Just want to get this over with." Razor studied him for a moment. "You know, Stone, you were always one of the smart ones. Knew when to talk, when to shut up. That's why Bull trusted you." Past tense. What? You said trusted. Past tense. Razor shrugged. "People change. 8 years is a long time." Stone's gut tightened. Did they suspect something? Before he could respond, Bull called them back to the trucks. The convoy rolled out. 2 more hours. They crossed into California. The landscape changed. Desert gave way to farmland. Stone's hands sweated on the steering wheel. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Agents in position. 20 miles to intercept point. Stay calm." Stone deleted the message. 15 miles. 10. 5. Suddenly, Bull's voice came over the radio. "All units stop. We've got a problem." Stone's blood went cold. He pulled over with the others. Bull jumped out of his truck and strode toward Stone's vehicle. His face was thunder. "Get out!" Stone climbed down slowly. "What's going on?" "Empty your pockets." "Bull, what?" "I said empty your pockets." Stone's mind raced. The wire. They knew about the wire. He reached into his jacket, stalling for time. "I don't understand what's happening." Bull grabbed him and slammed him against the truck. "Did you think we were stupid? Did you think we wouldn't check?" "Check what?" "One of our guys works at the FBI field office. Janitor. Here's things. Like how some washed-up biker named Stone Reynolds walked in last week offering to wear a wire." Stone's world collapsed. Bull ripped open his jacket and found the device. He tore it out and crushed it under his boot. "You're dead, Stone. You hear me? You're dead." Razor and 3 other men surrounded him. There was nowhere to run. "Bull, listen to me. No, you listen." Bull pulled a gun and pressed it against Stone's forehead. "You betrayed your brothers. For what? Some woman. Some kid that might not even be yours. She is mine. She won't have a daddy after today." Stone closed his eyes. He thought about Lily, her smile, her laugh, the way she called him daddy, like it was the most natural thing in the world. He thought about Emma, his first daughter, the one he'd failed. He wasn't going to fail again. "If you're going to kill me," he said quietly, "then do it. But know this, the FBI already has your roots, your contacts, everything. Whether I'm alive or dead, you're going down." Bull's finger tightened on the trigger. Then sirens, distant but getting closer. "What the hell?" Razor looked toward the horizon. Blue and red lights. Dozens of them. "FBI." A helicopter appeared overhead. "Put down your weapons. You are surrounded." Chaos erupted. Some of the men ran. Others went for their guns. Bull turned toward the commotion, and Stone moved. He grabbed Bull's gun arm and twisted. The weapon discharged into the air. Stone drove his elbow into Bull's face, felt bone crack under the impact. Bull went down. Razor came at Stone with a knife. Stone sidestepped, caught Razor's wrist, and snapped it. The knife clattered to the ground. FBI agents swarmed the scene. Within minutes, every Hell's Angel was on the ground in handcuffs. Stone sat against his truck, breathing hard. Blood dripped from a cut on his forehead. His ribs ached where someone had landed a punch. An agent approached him. "Mr. Reynolds, are you okay?" "Yeah." Stone looked at the men being loaded into vans. His former brothers, his former life. "Yeah, I'm okay." "You did good. We got everything we needed before they destroyed the wire. All the conversations from the drive. It's enough to put them away for years." "What about Bull?" "He'll get the longest sentence of all. Attempted murder of a federal informant. He won't see daylight until he's 90. Stone nodded. It was over. It was finally over. "We need to debrief you at the field office. But first, is there someone you want to call?" Stone pulled out his phone. His hands were shaking. Grace answered on the first ring. Stone, are you okay? It's all over the news, FBI raid on a biker gang." "I'm okay." "Oh, thank God," she was crying. "Thank God. Lily's been asking about you all day. She's right here. Hold on." There was a rustling sound, then Lily's voice. "Daddy." Stone's throat closed. Tears streamed down his face. "Hey, sweetheart. Mommy said you had to go somewhere dangerous. She said you might not come back." "I came back. I told you I would." "You promised." "Yeah, I promised." "Are you coming home now?" Stone looked at the chaos around him. The agents, the handcuffed bikers, the helicopters still circling overhead. "Soon, baby. Real soon. I made you a picture. It's you and me and Mommy and Butterscotch. We're at the beach. I can't wait to see it. Daddy, yeah, I love you. I love you too, Lily. More than all the stars in the sky." The debriefing took 6 hours. Stone told them everything, every name, every route, every secret he'd learned during his years with the club. The agents recorded it all, asked follow-up questions, verified details. When it was finally over, they gave him a ride home in an unmarked car. It was past midnight when he walked through the door of the trailer. Grace was waiting. She threw herself into his arms and held him so tight he couldn't breathe. "I thought I lost you." "You didn't. I'm here. The news said there was a shootout. They said people were hurt." "I'm fine. Just some scratches." Grace pulled back and looked at his face. The cut on his forehead. The bruise forming on his jaw. "This is fine. I've had worse." She started crying again. "I can't do this, Stone. I can't live like this always wondering if you're coming home." "You won't have to. Not anymore." He held her face in his hands. "It's done, Grace. The club is finished. Bull and the others are going to prison. And the FBI is giving us protection. New identities if we want them. A fresh start." "What does that mean?" "It means we're free. No more debts, no more looking over our shoulders. Just us. You, me, and Lily." Grace searched his eyes. "You mean it? I mean it." She kissed him then. Really kissed him. For the first time since they'd found each other again, there was no fear in it. Just love. Pure and simple. "Daddy." They broke apart. Lily stood in the hallway rubbing her eyes. "Sweetheart, what are you doing up?" "I heard the door." She ran to him and hugged his legs. "You came back." Stone lifted her into his arms. "I told you I would. You always keep your promises." "I try my best." Lily touched the cut on his forehead. "You have a boo-boo." "It's just a scratch. Mommy should kiss it better. That's what she does for me." Stone looked at Grace. She was smiling through her tears. "Mommy will do that," Grace said. "But first, let's get you back to bed." "Can Daddy tuck me in?" "Daddy can definitely tuck you in." Stone carried Lily to her room and laid her gently on the bed. He pulled the covers up and tucked Butterscotch beside her. "Daddy, yeah, I had a dream about you. You were fighting bad guys like a superhero." Stone smiled. "I'm not a superhero, sweetheart." "Yes, you are. You're my superhero." He kissed her forehead. "Get some sleep, okay?" "Okay." She yawned. "Daddy, yeah, I'm glad the magic phone brought you to us." "Me too, baby. Me too." He turned off the light and stood in the doorway for a moment, watching her breathe. This little girl who had called him in the middle of the night, who had trusted a stranger with her life, who had given him a reason to keep living, he would never take her for granted. Not for a single day. 3 months later, everything had changed. Stone sold the trailer and bought a small house on the edge of town. 3 bedrooms, a yard, a porch where they could sit and watch the sunset. Nothing fancy. But it was theirs. Grace had started a new job at a daycare center. She loved it, surrounded by children all day, coming home with stories that made Lily laugh. Stone worked at a garage owned by a friend of a friend. Honest work. Clean work. The kind of work that let him sleep at night. And Lily was thriving. She'd started 1st grade in September. Every afternoon, Stone picked her up from school. She'd run to him, backpack bouncing, and jump into his arms. "Daddy, guess what we learned today?" He never got tired of hearing that word, Daddy. One evening in October, Lily came home with a flyer clutched in her hand. "What's this, sweetheart? It's the father-daughter dance at my school. All the daddies and their daughters go, and there's music and cookies and everything." Stone looked at the flyer. His stomach tightened. "When is it?" "Next Friday. Please say you'll come, Daddy. Please, please, please." Stone hadn't been to anything like this since Emma was alive. The thought of being in a room full of other fathers, normal fathers' fathers who hadn't spent years in biker gangs, it terrified him. But Lily was looking at him with those big, hopeful eyes. "Of course I'll come." She squealed and hugged him tight. "I'm going to wear my purple dress, and you have to wear something nice. Not your work clothes. Something fancy." "I don't really have anything fancy." "Then Mommy will help you buy something." "Right, Mommy." Grace smiled from the kitchen. "Right, baby." That weekend, Grace dragged Stone to a department store. He tried on 3 different button-down shirts before she approved one. "You look handsome," she said. "I look ridiculous." "You look like a dad." Stone stared at himself in the mirror. Clean shirt, new jeans, hair combed, beard trimmed. He barely recognized himself. The night of the dance arrived. Lily was bouncing off the walls with excitement. "Come on, Daddy. We're going to be late." "We're not going to be late. The dance doesn't start for an hour." "But I want to get there early. I want to show you my classroom and introduce you to my friends." Stone couldn't say no to her. He could never say no to her. They arrived at the school 30 minutes early. Lily dragged him through the hallways, pointing out her cubby, her desk, her art project on the wall. "See, that's the unicorn I drew. Mrs. Patterson said it was the best unicorn in the whole class." "It's beautiful, sweetheart." Other fathers started arriving with their daughters. Stone tensed, waiting for the stares. The judgment. The whispered comments about his tattoos, his rough appearance. But no one stared. No one whispered. They just smiled and nodded one dad to another. The gym was decorated with streamers and balloons. A DJ played kid-friendly songs. Tables were loaded with cookies and punch. Lily pulled Stone onto the dance floor. "Come on, Daddy, dance with me." "I don't really know how to dance." "It's easy. Just move your feet like this." She demonstrated some kind of bouncing motion that Stone couldn't quite replicate. But he tried. And when Lily laughed at his awkward moves, he didn't feel embarrassed. He felt happy. Halfway through the evening, the DJ put on a slow song. "This one's for all the daddies and their little girls. Grab your daughter and hold her close." Lily reached up. Stone lifted her into his arms. She wrapped her arms around his neck and rested her head on his shoulder. They swayed to the music. Stone closed his eyes. 8 years ago, he'd danced like this with Emma. He could still remember the weight of her in his arms, the smell of her shampoo, the sound of her giggle. He'd thought he'd never dance with a daughter again. "Daddy," Lily's voice was soft. "Yeah, sweetheart, this is the best night ever." Stone held her tighter. "Yeah, it really is." When the song ended, Lily looked at him with serious eyes. "Daddy, can I tell you a secret?" "Of course." "I was scared to call the magic phone. That night when the bad man hurt Mommy, I was really scared." "I know, baby. But I did it anyway, because Mommy told me you would come, and you did." Stone felt his throat tighten. "I'll always come, Lily, no matter what." "I know," she smiled. "That's why I'm not scared anymore." Later that night, after Stone had tucked Lily into bed, he sat on the porch with Grace. The stars were out, scattered across the sky like diamonds. "She had fun tonight," Grace said. "Yeah, she did." "So did you." Stone nodded. "I didn't think I could do it, be around all those normal people. But it was okay. It was more than okay," said Grace took his hand. "You know what I realized today?" "What?" "A year ago, I was lying on a kitchen floor, bleeding, wondering if I was going to die. My daughter was hiding under a bed, terrified. We had nothing. No hope. No future. And now," Grace looked at the house. Their house, with the lights on, and their daughter sleeping safely inside. "Now, I have everything." Stone squeezed her hand. "Me too." They sat in silence for a while, watching the stars. "Stone." "Yeah. Do you still think about Emma?" He took a breath. "Every day. But it doesn't hurt as much anymore. I used to feel guilty about that, like I was betraying her by being happy. And now I think she'd want this for me. She'd want me to be a good father to Lily, to not waste my second chance." Grace leaned her head on his shoulder. "You're not wasting it." "I'm trying not to." The screen door creaked open. Lily appeared in her pajamas, butterscotch dangling from her hand. "I can't sleep." "Bad dreams?" Stone asked. "No, I just wanted to be with you guys." Grace patted the space between them. "Come here, baby." Lily climbed onto the porch swing and snuggled between her parents. Stone wrapped his arm around both of them. "Look at all the stars," Lily whispered. "There's a lot of them tonight." "Daddy, do you think Emma's up there, in heaven?" Stone's heart clenched. Grace had told Lily about Emma a few weeks ago, just the basics, that Stone had a daughter before, that she had died, that he was very sad for a long time. "Yeah," Stone said. "I think she is." "Do you think she can see us?" "I hope so." Lily was quiet for a moment. "I think she'd be happy. That you have me now. So you're not alone." Stone pulled his daughter closer. "I think you're right, sweetheart. I think she'd be really happy." They sat together on the porch, watching the stars, listening to the crickets. A family. Whole and complete and imperfect and beautiful. Stone thought about the phone call that had started it all. 1:57 a.m. A terrified little girl whispering into the darkness. please save my mommy. He'd driven through the night, not knowing what he'd find, not knowing that his whole life was about to change. And now here he was, a father again, a partner, a man with something to live for. "Daddy?" Lily's voice was sleepy. "Yeah, I love you. I love you too, sweetheart. Will you always be here?" Stone looked at Grace. She smiled at him through tears. He looked down at Lily, his daughter, his miracle, his second chance. "Always," he said. "I promise." And this time he meant it. At 1:57 a.m. on a cold night 7 months ago, a little girl's voice had reached through the darkness and found a broken man. She'd asked him to save her mother. She'd called him Daddy before she even knew his face. And in saving her, he'd saved himself. Some people say there are no second chances, that once you've lost everything, there's no way back. Stone used to believe that. He'd spent 8 years believing it, drowning in grief and guilt and whiskey. But then the magic phone rang, and everything changed. The Hell's Angel, who thought his heart had turned to stone, discovered that love was stronger than loss, that hope was stronger than fear, that one phone call in the middle of the night could bring back a man from the dead. Lily was right about the magic phone. It didn't just call for help. It called him home. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please share your favorite part in the comments and tell me where in the world you're watching from. Thank you for following Stone and Lily's journey. Sometimes the greatest heroes are found in the darkest moments, and sometimes all it takes to change a life is one phone call and the courage of a 6-year-old girl holding a teddy bear named Butterscotch.